If you want a simple way to get really specific data on your website traffic and use that data to then make decisions about where you should be spending your time marketing and reaching out to people, today's episode is going to be a really powerful one. Welcome to Process to Profitability, hosted by me, Samantha Main. Process to Profitability centers on strategic processes that reduce costs while increasing conversions, productivity, and efficiency for creative CEO women who are growing sustainable, successful service-based businesses. We'll discuss strategies that produce sustainable profits and how to apply these processes to your small business through solo episodes and some amazing guests this season. Today, I am talking about UTMs. So those three little letters are some of the most intimidating that I have found online. And the reason is because we don't really understand how they work. UTMs are a powerful tracking mechanism, a link that you or somebody else creates that then gives you very specific information from the people that click that link. For example, I have a UTM link in my Instagram bio that's actually for my links page. So if somebody goes to my Instagram and they click on links to see all of the things that I talk about on Instagram, that link is not just my regular URL, it's a UTM that includes extra information. And when I then go into my analytics for my website, that extra information tells me not, 5 people landed on your website today. It tells me 4 of those people came from your Instagram link where you were talking about this specific thing. So what we are trying to do here is get information about where people are coming to your website from so that you can see what efforts are really working, especially when it comes to marketing. To start with, you can set up your own UTM creator, or you can use a website that does it for you. It's pretty simple to get set up. The most important part is that you keep track of what you have created and that you use specific enough labels that when you go back into your data, that you can actually understand what it is that you put in. So if you just Google UTM creator, you are going to have lots of different options come up. You're going to enter the information. It's going to spit out a URL that you can then use as a link, embed it somewhere, hyperlink it through your text. And then what that's going to do is when someone clicks on that link, it's going to send all of that information to the back end of your analytics so that you can see all of that data. If you are looking at a UTM creator, you're going to see a couple of things where you need to enter information. The first is going to be the URL of the page where your traffic is being sent. So this is going to be the full URL of your website or a specific page on your site. One thing to note here is because you can only see analytics data from your website, these URLs need to be from your website. It doesn't help if your URL that you're entering here is the landing page that you created in MailerLite or Flowdesk for your newsletter, because you don't have access to see who is clicking on those links. You would need to embed that form onto a page on your website that then you could send people to. The next thing that you're going to enter is a campaign. All of these different categories, there is no specific way you have to use them. You just need to figure out something that's going to work for you. But what I like to use campaign for is identifying a specific campaign, like a specific freebie that I'm promoting, a specific webinar, or a specific promo period. Because what that's going to do is that's going to give me the biggest picture of what this is about that brought them to the page. Then you have source. So this can be a place where the visitor came from. So that might be ConvertKit or MailerLite or Flowdesk. If it's your email newsletter, it might be Instagram. It might be that you actually give somebody else who is linking out to your site a UTM. So you could say that it's from this specific referral partner. And that's going to give you information about not why they came, what drew them in, but how they got there, how they found you. And then medium is going to be a little bit more specific. So if you were to say this link was from Instagram on your source, your medium can go one step deeper than that. You might say, okay, it's the link in my bio from Instagram, or it's the link that I shared on stories for Instagram. And that's just going to give you that next level of information that can then let you make decisions about, do I promote this thing more on stories or in my posts? Where are more people seeing and clicking through? And then you also have the ability to add content. So I only use this one if I am using a UTM in a specific blog post, that I can use that blog post name. So when I linked my VIP Day application from a specific blog post, I include the name there so that I can see exactly which steps they took to click on that link. And I know which blog posts are performing really well, not in just how much traffic they get, but in how much they're actually converting people to the goal of my website, which is to get them to apply to work with me. There's also the ability to add a term. This is usually used for paid searches, and you can note the keywords for your campaign that you might have used so that you just get a little bit more information. Generally, what you're going to need to make sure you include is obviously that URL. You have to tell it where they're going, the source, the campaign, and the medium. The more information you can put in all of these links, the better off you're going to be, because when you go back and you look at that data, you are going to have lots there that you can dive into. The other thing I want to note, just because it's something that I was not sure about at the first, is when you're creating this, you need to think about it like it's a URL. So there are no spaces. You're either going to use a dash or an underscore to connect the words, because that is how the internet is going to read that data. Okay, so now you've got these set up. What do you do with them? I set UTMs up and I keep them in an Airtable database so that anytime I am linking to a specific thing from a specific platform, I can use that link. So anytime I share about my VIP Day on LinkedIn, I go to the UTM that is made specifically for that, I copy it, and I use that link. And that way, anytime somebody clicks on there, when I go into my data at the end of the month, I can see, oh, I had 3 people click on my VIP Day application who came specifically from LinkedIn. And that's a whole lot more helpful of information than just, oh, I had 27 people click on this link, but I have no idea where they came from. I have no idea what of the marketing efforts that I have put in actually worked for my business. And this is a whole lot simpler than putting together a separate opt-in form for every podcast or guest post that you do, which is what I used to do. So every time I would be a guest on a podcast, I would create a separate form, a separate link, so that they could go through and I had a way to track where they were coming from. This is a whole lot simpler because the page that you're going to is actually the same. All you're doing is giving a different link so that you can see that information. What do you do once you have that data? You have to look at it and you have to just make decisions based on that. So I look at my analytics once a month. I have switched from Google Analytics to Fathom Analytics because they do not sell your data and other people's data for ad revenue. You actually pay for this. To me, it feels a lot more aligned with what I value in my business. And the analytics in there are a lot less confusing, especially now that Google has moved over to G4 Analytics. So there are less things that I can look at, but that's actually more powerful for me because I do not have to sift through what's important and what's not important. So when I get on my analytics, what I first look at is I set my time range for the past month. I look at, okay, did I have more or less traffic to my website that month? Think about maybe, okay, why might that have been? Did I not do as many promos? Was I not as active? Did I have a lot of guest episodes come out and so it's higher traffic? It's just helpful to note what's going on and why you might be seeing some of these results. And then as I scroll down, I can actually look at UTMs. There's a whole section where I can then choose to look at it by all of those fields that I entered, by campaign, by source, by medium, by content. And it will show me, okay, here's what that data is. Here's how many people came to your site. So I can see, okay, I had 12 people come to my site through the VIP Day application link. 5 of those were from Instagram, 4 of those were from LinkedIn. This many were from a guest episode of a podcast. And so what I can then do is look into that information and say, oh, well, it seems like Instagram is the best source of traffic that I have for my website. I'm going to spend more of my time and effort marketing there. Or I might say, Instagram isn't getting any click-throughs, so I'm going to actually spend more of my time and effort somewhere else, even if it's not the most popular platform. Because my goal in business is not to have 1 million followers or be an influencer. It's to be profitable and serve my clients. And so I have to spend my time, spend my effort showing up where those people are finding me and where it makes sense for the growth and trajectory of my business. I know this sounds really technical, but once you do it a couple of times and you have a database where you can keep this information, it's so simple to create a UTM, use that instead of just a generic link to your website, and then take some time at the end of every month or the end of every quarter and look at what of those things that you have been doing in your marketing and in your work is actually paying off so that you know what to do moving forward. If you have any questions about this, send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to connect about how you are using this and how you are using the data from your website analytics to make decisions about how you are going to market and run your business. And if you are interested in having me transform your website so that you can really have a strategy for when people land on that site to move them towards becoming clients of yours, let me know. We can work together during a VIP day, and I would love to chat about exactly how your website can help you convert your right fit leads into clients. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Process to Profitability. I'd love it if you would leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts to help others find the show, and send me a message to let me know, what is your process to profitability? You can connect with me on my website at lemonandthesea.com or on Instagram and TikTok at lemonandthesea.